Okay, in this video, we are looking at still graphing quadratic functions. And remember, quadratic means you have in the function, in the equation, you have the x has a squared, x squared, x squared, x squared, x squared. So you have the St. James heading at the top. Graphing quadratic functions, you underline that in red. Chapter 10, section 2, underline that in red. And then part 2. We need more examples. We need more practice doing this. Okay, so here's what I mean. I have y equals 4x squared. X squared means that this is a quadratic function. It's not even spelled right. Here we go. Okay, quadratic function. Okay, and here I have a positive 4, so that means it's going to be an upward U, capital U, or the opening will be up, facing up. And I always like to start with -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Gives us an idea of whether it's an upward U or a downward N with the opening facing down. Okay, so let's plug it in. Y equals 4 times -2 squared. So remember, we do the exponents first. So -2 times -2. Once we do that, we'll multiply everything by 4. So what's -2 times -2? Positive 4. Okay, move that over a little bit. Positive 4 times 4 from over here. And we get 16. Okay, let's try another one. Y equals 4 times what? -1 squared this time. So you have -1 times -1. Okay. Then we'll multiply everything by 4. So -1 times -1 is positive 1. And we bring the 4 over. So it's 4 times 1 gives us 4. Okay, let's try another one. Well, y equals 4 times 0 squared. Well, anything times 0 is going to give you 0. Okay, so then y equals 4 times 1 squared. So we have 1 times 1. That gives us 1. And then you multiply that by 4. So you get 4 times 1. And that gives us 4. And last but not least, y equals 4 times 2 squared. And I know you know the pattern by now, but still, let's be thorough. 2 times 2 gives us 4. You multiply that answer by 4, and you know that there's a pattern. So 4 times 4 is 16. So you have 16, 4, 0, 4, and then 16. So, yes, there is certainly a pattern. And let's graph it. Let's graph that pattern. So we're at -2. Negative, as you know, go left on the x-axis. Left, -2. And we're going to go up 16. You know that's off the grid. So we go all the way up to the grid and then just approximate 16, which I think is where I'm going to put it right above the F. It's up there. Okay. So that's -2, positive 16. And then we're going to do -1, but positive 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's on the graph, so that's a little bit easier. Okay. And then we're at 0, 0, the origin. And then 1, comma 4. And then 2, again, comma 16, so it's way up here. So our graph is definitely an upward U. That is not drawn very nicely. My little U is not super neat, but it's close, not bad. Okay, so you do have a positive U, or a U, and it's positive, so it's facing up. It's not an N. All right, now we're going to try y equals -6x squared. So again, the negative means, well, it's going to look like an N, or the opening is going to be down. Okay, and we always do -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so let's plug it in. Y equals -6 times -2 squared. So it's -2 times -2, so that's the squared. Then we're multiplied by -6. So what's -2 times -2? 4. 4 times a negative 6 equals negative 24. That's going to be really off our grid. That's okay. So then y equals negative 6 times negative 1 squared. So it's going to be negative 1 times negative 1, which is 1. And we're going to bring negative 6 over. So negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. And then y equals negative 6 times 0. It's a negative. Oh, I'm not writing this down. 24, negative 6, and then 0. Because anything times 0 is 0. Positive or negative, it's just 0. So y equals negative 6 times 1 squared. And you know how this works. It's positive 1 times 1 gives you 1. And then it's multiplied by that negative 6. So we get negative 6. And last but not least, we have y equals negative 6 times 2 squared. So it's 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 6 times 4 is negative 24. And again, that'll be off our grid. But that's okay. So we can note, you know the pattern by now. And now we're going to graph it. Okay, so we have, start with negative 2. We go left 2 spaces. We're actually going to be going down. So I'll scroll down here. Okay, left 2 spaces and go down. And you know I'm ballparking here, obviously, because it's way off our grid. Okay, so it's down there. Negative 2, 1, 2, and then down. 24 spaces. Okay, so it's down there. And then negative 1, and then you go down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're at 0, 0. And they're at positive 1, negative 6, and then positive 2, and again, going down to, I'm just going to say 24. Whoops. I didn't go over far enough, though. Okay, 24. So, it's a thin U, but it's, or thin N because it's facing down, but it's down. So, we know we did it right, which is good. Okay, so now we're going to look at the next one. I'm going to erase this because I don't know, I think we're okay. All right, so the next one here is a negative. What does negative mean? Again, another N facing down. So let's get started. Negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. And I am moving through this, so pause if you need to, but I'm trying to make it so the videos are not as long. So pause the video if you need it. All right, so it's y equals negative, and then it's negative 2 squared plus 2. So be careful, it's negative, but you multiply first, so it's negative 2 times negative 2, because we do exponents first. Okay, and that gives us 4. Then we bring the negative over, and then we add 2. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. All right, and now we're doing negative with negative 1 squared plus 2. Okay, so we have negative, but it's negative 1 times negative 1. And that gives us a positive 1. Got to bring the negative over. Negative 1 plus 2 is positive 1. Okay, so y equals negative 0 squared but plus 2. 0 squared is 0. Everything times 0 is 0, but then we add 2 and we get a positive 2. So now we have negative, and we have 1 times 1 gives us 1. Bring over the negative, and we get negative 1 plus 2 is, of course, 1. Oh, I didn't write that in here. Sorry. Yes, I do want you to fill in. So if I do it, you do it. If I have to do it, you definitely have to do it. So it's negative. Now we're doing y equals negative 2 squared plus 2. So it's 2 times 2, which is 4. Bring over the negative, and that gives us negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. This will fit on our graph. Not quite as, off the graph. So we have negative 2, negative 2. So we go over 2, left 2, and up 2. And then we go over 1. Oh, nope, 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 nope. We go left 2 and then down 2, sorry. And then we go over 1, left 1, and up 1. Then we're at 0 and 2. We're right 1, up 1, and right 2, and down 2. So there is our N, or upside down U, however you want to look at it. Doesn't bother me. As long as you know it's obviously facing down. Okay, and you kind of get the rhythm of it. So this is a positive 2. So that means it's going to be a U. Okay, and when I draw it, I better find a U. If I didn't do a U, then obviously I did something wrong in my math. So here we go. Y equals 2 times negative 2 squared plus 3. So it's going to be 2 times what? Negative 2 times negative 2. Got to do the exponents first. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Then we multiply. 2 times 4 gives us 8. Then plus 3. Remember the plus 3. So that is 11. Okay, so then y equals 2 times negative 1 squared plus 3. So we have 2 times negative 1 times negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is 1 times 2, which is 2, plus 3, which is 5. Okay, and then we have 2 times, oops, right here first, 2 times 0 squared plus 3. Well, this is the easy one. Anything times 0 is 0, so just add 3 and you get 3. So y equals 2 times 1 squared plus 3. So it's 1 times 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Times 2 is 2. Plus 3 is 5. And last but not least, 2 times 2 squared plus 3. So 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2 is 8. Plus 3 is 11. Okay? So now let's graph them. And you know we start with going left 2 spaces. So we go left 2 spaces, 1, 2, and up 11. So we know we're at the end of our grid and up 1 more. So there's 11. And then we go left 1 space and up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're at 0, positive 3. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, as I count, sometimes the dots get there. And then right 1, up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then right 2 and up 11. And there we have it. There's our upward U. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we have a positive U. All right, yes, take good notes, take good notes. Print screen, make your life easier, or get graph paper from me. That makes sense, right? You could be getting graph paper each time. Your problem for next class. Again, with the decimal, pay attention. We have a negative, okay, which means it's going to be down, an N. Okay, so just pay attention. Remember 0.5 we can set as a fraction. Fractions do make our lives easier, whether you want to believe me or not. That's okay. Told you we'll be using fractions all of 7th and 8th grade and all of high school, so embrace them at some point. All right, so have this filled in, and I will see you next class.